To get all this with the layers into Photoshop, select everything, Command C for copy, open up Photoshop, new file. It's going to be the same size as the clipboard, Command V for paste. And you want to paste with layers. Continue. Now under groups, all these layer names match what came from Illustrator. If you imported this PSD into After Effects, File, Import File, you could see a bunch of layer names which you don't need, and I'll show you how to reduce those using Smart Objects. So here's the PSD that I saved before. You want to make sure it's composition, enable layer styles, click OK. When it comes in, if I go within here, and I go within here, this is correct. If you look, though, in here, you have a bunch of groups, which are the nesting of the layer names like this with the path that created it. As a project, you could definitely work within. There's nothing wrong with working with this, but I can simplify this whole thing. Whether or not you were going to After Effects, this copy and paste in between Illustrator does preserve the layers, but by doing so, you get all of these extra nested groups within groups going on and paths. Instead of merging, because merging is a destructive process, there's no going back. If I want to then edit the foot after merging, it's editing a whole piece of artwork. If you want flexibility in the way you can control your art, use Smart Objects. Here's the upper arm, lower upper arm, and right hand. If you right-click, convert to Smart Object. Let me click out here so you can see the menu. Right-click, convert to Smart Object. Now this is all one piece. If you want to edit it, if I select it, it's moving over. It's not a grouping. It's not even merging. If I double-click this, you have access to the original groups right here. And if I need to change, let's say, the position, the hand group, let me select the whole hand. I just needed to rotate a little bit and move over. And to better show this working, I'm going to also take out a paintbrush. Now, you're not going to see any change here until you save your Smart Object, Command S. Once this is saved, you go back here and you see the update. This is so you have a flexible workflow. Just double-click that layer, and you can access all the parts. So flexibility of not merging. Now with this one, let me continue combining, going to the arm, and upper left arm, lower left arm, right-click right here, convert to Smart Object. You can rename it to just arm left. And I can rename this one arm right. In a moment, I'll be done, and I'll show you how it looks in After Effects. Here's the left side of the leg. Right-click, convert to Smart Object. Rename it leg left. I'll do the same thing for the right leg, and we're almost done. I'll do this for the body. I'll convert this, just to simplify it, to Smart Object. And the head, right head. I don't need the background layer anymore. I'll throw that out. I'll look at my groups. I'm going to release this from the group. Easiest way would be just to select them and just drag them above the group. Selecting the group folder that's empty, delete. So what effectively you've done, anytime you need to adjust, I don't want that tattoo anymore, double click. Maybe it's temporary, and so you'll hide it. Command S, save, and now it's gone. I'm going to import this into After Effects, File, Save As. Opening After Effects. And I save the file first. This way, no temporary files are made on my computer. that you have to track down to get rid of later. So always save your project the second you open it. Otherwise, it uses the temporary space. Right-click, import file, selecting the Smart Object version of the character. And when it comes in, composition, editable layer styles. When it comes in, if I double-click this composition, you can see the simplification of all these parts right out here. I have a 7-layer composition, but not only that, in here, in the folder, it's also 7 layers. So instead of many nested layers, it comes in as one piece. And back to the reason why you might want to do this is the flexibility. If I hit save on this, and I go back to Photoshop, and I go back to the right arm, I'll re-enable that layer, Command S to save it. Going back here, saving the main document where that smart object is attached to, Command S. And finally, back to After Effects. There's our tattoo again, right there. So smart objects, a lot more flexibility than merging. Merging's fine if you know that's the final state of your artwork. If you're still unsure, you're still working with it, smart objects is a smart way to go to simplify what's happening out here in After Effects, and not only that, to simplify your workflow in Photoshop, especially if coming from Illustrator that created extra grouping layers in Photoshop. If you go to After Effects from this Illustrator file, you're not going to have all those extra layers.